Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Christine McIver of the Inspired Choices TV show, where we bring together guests who are inspiring throughout the world through things that inspire them. And today I'm very happy to have with me a guest, Cynthia Brace. Cynthia is a health coach, and she's an amazing woman who is creating greater in the world with what she's doing. And today we're talking about redesigning your interior. Cynthia has written a book. She's an author. Thank you so much for being here today, Cynthia.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. And your story is so unique. I love how you kind of came to life coaching and health coaching rather, and how your journey actually evolved and kind of did a circle around, right?
Absolutely.
So would you tell all of our listeners and our viewers today what your journey has been about, how you actually came to this point in health coaching?
Absolutely. It was certainly a circular route, as you say. When I was a child, I had asthma and allergies. And, I used to take shots and do the whole gambit for things like that. I was actually hospitalized for asthma. So I had a lot of things going on with that, but it didn't get to the point of where I was really kind of ready to do anything about it until I had hypoglycemia, which isn't, really a big deal in the scope of things. A lot of people have it certain times in their lives. But for me, it was very debilitating. I had, I was dizzy and I just felt horrible and I was irritable all the time. So I didn't know what it was.
So when did that start? How old were you when that started?
Oh, I was in my early 20s. Definitely. Okay. I was in my early 20s, and it wasn't, who wants to wake up or feel dizzy all the time or irritable, and then you can't really function. It's really when your blood sugar levels drops below what it should be, and then you start to get all your symptoms. Okay. I didn't know what it was, so I went to my doctor, and she told me what it was based on symptoms, and I was like, wow, that's not cool. So I asked her, what do I do? How do I, and she's like, well, there's nothing I can do for you. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's different. And so it's a diet thing, right? Hypoglycemia is a diet thing. So there's nothing that a doctor can prescribe to you to kind of help you.
There's no fix.
There's no quick fix.
No quick pill that you can just pop and have this go away.
No.
Okay.
So there's nothing like that. So I was kind of left with, okay, now what do I do? And that really kind of set me on the journey to finding a different way, because I didn't want to feel like that the rest of my life. So I started taking a lot of different trainings, the Reiki and the reflexology, and I took, holistic nutrition. And that really got me to the point, and it opened my eyes of all the different things out there that could really help you.
Right.
The back to basic things, and that really got me on the journey, and then I really wanted to help other people. So that's how the book came about.
So you didn't start out, your original career was not health coach.
No.
This was your personal journey that you were learning about yourself.
Absolutely.
And when you say, what was the timeline from when you went to the doctor and they said, sorry, can't help you, to today? Like, how many years are we talking about where you really were learning and learning?
Wow, geez. You're going to age me here, my friend. It's a good 10, 15 years.
10, 15 years.
Because as you say, it wasn't my first profession.
Right.
I was working full time doing other things as well as I was learning and changing my lifestyle and really changing my whole life. Because when I had hypoglycemia, I started reading everything about it, and everything in my kitchen, everything in my pantry went out the window, because I was eating all the wrong things.
So let's go back to, what was your original career?
I'm an interior designer, a registered interior designer.
Okay, cool. And so you did the interior design for what, 10, 15, 20 years?
I still do interior design.
You still do it?
I still help people build beautiful things in their spaces.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, it's interesting because your book is Redesign, your interior. So the book is fabulous. It's a very easy, simplistic, direct read, which I appreciate. And I'm sure that this came about years of reading and research, and you've simplified it down.
Yes.
But when you say things like your entire kitchen had to change, my mind goes to, oh my gosh, I have to go do all of that, and I don't really want to do that. Now, so many people, when they make the choice, they make the decision that they're going to be forced to change their lifestyle, or they're deciding I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to get in shape, or I'm going to strengthen my body. They kind of go over the top, I would say.
Yeah.
And isn't that, Cynthia, when people fail?
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Because, I mean, how many people, January begins and everybody's at the gym.
That's
and
right.
February comes along and nobody's at the gym.
That's right. That's
right?
right. Absolutely.
So what is different about your approach? And did you utilize that approach with yourself?
Haha, good question. No, I didn't. When I did it myself, was before I even started taking nutrition training and whatnot. But no, at the time, and I wouldn't recommend it. I got rid of everything, and I was eating protein and vegetables, which is not a bad thing.
Right.
It's kind of like a diet. Not something that I would recommend long term, but no, I wouldn't recommend it because it is hard. And I don't do that with my clients, or it's what you want to do is you want to create a lifestyle that's sustainable, right?
Okay.
And you can't do that overnight. It took me years to get to where I am. And with a client, I have a 3-month program that kind of one at a time, because if you do everything all at once,
right,
you do fail.
Right.
Right. So if I'm gonna, all of a sudden, I'm not somebody who goes to the gym or, eats really healthy or sleeps well or whatever. I'm going to change all those things starting tomorrow. And that's great that you want to start tomorrow, but
Right.
to do everything all at once, your body likes to do and your mind likes to do things that are habit, that are like, you don't have to think about it. You've got enough to think about with your job and with everything that's going on in your life. Your body, it's like enough. I don't want to think about these things. It's too hard. Let's go back to the way we were.
Right.
Because it's easy. We don't have to think about it.
Right.
Right.
Well, we have the neural pathways.
Yes.
And we I talk to my clients as well. Sometimes it's like, do you ever find that you've driven somewhere, like you've changed jobs, and suddenly you're not thinking?
Yeah.
Right? You're
That's right.
unconscious with your actions,
Yeah.
and suddenly you're at the old job.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I don't work here anymore. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Right? And we just have these pathways that are so strong within
right.
us. And that is why oftentimes, right, we go back to those old habits so easily. Okay. So there are a lot of people out there preaching, what we should be doing, which feels like a lot of judgment, which feels like a lot of, I'm not doing it right.
Yep.
And it can be so overwhelming. I mean, you've looked at this for many, many years.
Yep.
I've tried many things as well.
Yep.
I know that our viewers have tried many things, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's different about what you're doing? And did you try like everything under the sun, Cynthia?
I definitely tried a lot of different things, no question. I was never a serial dieter. That wasn't my thing. But I know a lot of people struggle with that. And the thing is to not make it hard and not judge yourself. It's not about that. Everybody is a unique person. And, I look at people as a whole, as that person. What I would do for myself is not what I would do for you. Right? Because you're at a different stage in your life and you need different things or different supplements or a different way of doing things, and you have a different lifestyle. Right? So what would work for you wouldn't necessarily work for me.
Right.
Right? So it's important to look at yourself as a whole, look at your client as a whole,
right.
to say, okay, well, you're not a morning person like I am, right?
Right.
I'm a morning person. I'm okay to get up early and do these things.
You get up crazy early.
Well. It's just the way it is. That's the way my body functions. Exactly.
Right.
But it's not for everyone. So I wouldn't expect, all of my clients to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do the things that, we had outlined to do. Because if that's not your lifestyle, then, we focus on a different way of doing it. You also have to focus on, again, we're talking about closing the circle. You have to talk about mindset. Right? You have to focus on your mindset. Why do you want to make these changes? Why is it important to you? And really get down to that point of, yes, this is my emotional feeling of why I need to do this. And it might just be like, I want to fit into that awesome dress again.
Right.
Because I looked so amazing and I felt so great. It might be just that.
Right.
Right? But there's got to be some kind of really a why. And then how? You got to figure it out. Like, when should I do it? And how often? How am I going to roll into it slowly so it becomes a habit? So it's something that I can do without thinking about.
Right.
And then you have to focus on the physical, what you're eating, how you're moving your body, and then bring it around to self-care or spiritual, however you want to call it, because stress causes all of these things happening in your body, right? So we have to deal with that stress in order to bring you back into balance. So you have to have all three together for it to work well. Yeah.
All right, everyone, you're watching Inspired Choices TV, and we'll be back with our guest, Cynthia Brace, in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone, to Inspired Choices TV. I am your host, Christine McIver, and today in studio we have our health coach, Cynthia Brace. Cynthia, it has been a great conversation so far. I'd like to jump in now to actually, what do you do with your clients, and where's the first step that someone can begin to make it really, I think the biggest thing when in talking with you, it's the lasting choices. That's what I'd love to see, is really the lasting choices. And how do we get inspired to create those lasting choices?
Absolutely. Well, as I say, each client is different. Each client is unique. So I might do a slightly different path for each. But a lot of the times they're filling out a huge health form.
It's true.
Yeah. So yeah, I get them to fill out where they are today. You know, some of the questions are, you know, specific to, you know, what supplements you're taking, or, you know, how are you feeling, or how do you want to be? Because that kind of sparks the, you know, decision-making process. Okay, this is where I want to be, and this is now the process that I'm going to kind of take to get there. So we kind of go through all of that health questionnaire, and then we focus, as I say, on mindset. We do some mindset exercises to really kind of focus in, again, on what you want to do, and get around possibly some stories that you might be telling yourself that you might not be aware of, right? So that can be a big thing as well, where some people think, well, I've tried this and I've tried that and this other thing, and I just can't do it. So, you know, maybe I'll try this goal instead because I can't do the other thing. Well, that may or may not be true. So, you know, sometimes we can talk through a bit of the stories of, you know, why do you think that is? And maybe that, you know, we can get around that, or, you know, improve upon that. Some of the times people can't think that they can be well, or maybe they don't want to be well. Right? So it's a story you might be telling you know, if I do get well, or if I do change, how will that change the world around me? How will people treat me differently?
Right.
So that can be a big kind of fear thing, or a big thing that can stop people to kind of move forward.
Right.
So we talk about things like that, just, you know, just in case those little blocks are there, because you want to kind of at least acknowledge the blocks,
right,
to get through them to move forward. So that's a mindset.
I really like that. I mean, a lot of times if we're following a program online, or we go into a class, we're really just working with that one aspect. But what you're doing is you're really watching for where we're maybe triggering ourselves, or stopping ourselves. Yeah. That's fabulous. What if you have someone and their family isn't supportive? How do we move through our desires when people around us are like, no, you know, I don't want you to do that, or this is what I want to eat, or why do we have to get rid of the chocolate in the house? Whatever the case may be.
I mean, it happens all the time. The negative people thing, if you can, try not to hang around with them.
Right.
Because realistically, it's your journey. And you can decide to tell people or not. And a lot of the times, you know, I'll tell people it's not necessary for you to shout it from the rooftops. If you want to, do it in a supportive community.
Right.
You know, I have my faith, and I'm like always, you know, come out and tell us what your goals are. Everyone's here to support you. You won't have any negativity.
Right.
Because it's not about that. But if you're around a lot of negative people, or if you post it on your Facebook page or wherever, and you know you're going to get negativity, just there's no need for it. You don't need to do that. With regard to family, that's a tough one as well. It depends on how close they are, if they live in your same house. It can be a very big challenge, because just because you want to change doesn't mean everybody else in your family or everyone else who lives with you wants to or should.
Right.
So again, it comes down to your why. So if you're, you know, if you're the person, again, women, that's why I focus on women, because they seem to do more or do a lot to, you know, for the household. So if you're making dinner, it's understandable. I do it in my household. My husband eats, rice and a lot of the grains because he has a very physical job.
Right.
Whereas I don't. I'll
Right.
just have my vegetables and my noodles or, zucchini noodles.
Right.
Yummy. So we just do it a little differently.
Right. Okay, so there's two things I want to ask you. First of all, you do focus a lot on women entrepreneurs. Yes. Why is that? Why were you drawn to that area of a group of amazing, fabulous people in the world?
Absolutely. Well, I am one myself, and I know how difficult it is, starting up and continuing. Again, most women run the household, right? So they have that added kind of stress of, grocery shopping and feeding and figuring out everyone to eat, doctor's appointments. I'm not saying that other people in the household don't help.
Right.
But it usually is the woman who kind of carries a lot of that stuff.
Right.
So when you're a woman entrepreneur and you've got all of that, and then you add in that I'm focusing on my business and I need to make money in my business, it adds that second layer of pressure and stress.
Right.
So I like to focus on them because they tend to forget about themselves.
Well, we tend to put ourselves last.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, we've been taught for many, many centuries that everyone else goes ahead of us.
That's right.
And, one of the things, being an entrepreneur myself, actually making food in between a busy day for myself is not usually a big priority.
Right.
So is that something that you work with individuals on and really help them to make things easier?
Absolutely.
Because the last thing we want is more tasks, right? We'd like the results without the more additional work involved.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying that it won't be any work. Because realistically, if you're going towards a goal, it's going to take effort. And there's nothing I can do about that. But there is ways to do it so it makes it easy. And one of the big things I talk about is planning. Because when you're running a business, you're planning ahead. You're planning what you're doing. If you're not, then what are you doing?
Right.
So you do the same for yourself.
Right.
You plan for yourself.
I think that is the biggest challenge, where, especially if you're a young entrepreneur, you've been in business just a few short years. Yeah. We put so much energy, male or female, we put so much energy into the business because that feeds our families and that keeps us moving in a direction of our goals. Yeah. And yet the health piece, that seems to be the one that slips for so many of us. It's an unfortunate thing. Cynthia, what have your clients said to you about your program?
Oh my goodness. It's the way things change, it's sustainable, right? Okay. So as you're changing things, it becomes habit. So it's more of, oh, I didn't even realize. Oh, it's done. Oh, I did that. Oh, it's great. Oh, it saved me so much time.
Okay. So it's the planning so you're not putting a lot of targets in front of us all at once.
No, goodness, no. No. It's too hard. You're a woman entrepreneur. Even if you're a woman professional, works, outside of the home, there's a lot going on. There's only so much you can focus on at one time. That's why this it's not a quick fix. It's more of a lifestyle tweak. Right? Where we introduce, slowly things that are going to help you feel better. As a woman, as an entrepreneur, your biggest asset is you. Right? So if you actually, focus a little bit on yourself and start feeling better, you're not so tired anymore or you're not so stressed anymore, it's going to change your world around you. It's going to change you so you're able to give more to your clients, to your family, and be able to do more. And you're happier that way because you feel awesome.
Fantastic. So, Cynthia, what inspires you to do this work? You still have your the design work that you do with homes, but what inspires you to do this work?
Oh, when I work with a client and they have that aha moment where they're like, wow, that, or they come back and they're like, I can't believe how much my life has changed. I can't believe how easy that was. I can't believe now, I can go through my week and eat healthy and it doesn't have to be hard. Like that's really to be able to help people in such a way that it changes them, changes their life, and makes that just does it for me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So do you work with clients only in person, or do you do this work online as well?
I definitely do it online. Women entrepreneurs and
Fabulous.
busy people. I see people in person, but a lot of the times, even if people are local, I do it online because it's so much easier. They don't have to drive to me, and it can be done.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
So you have a global business. That's
Yes,
fabulous. I
yes.
love that. That's fantastic. So, Cynthia, when you were a young girl, what did you dream you were going to grow up and do in the world?
No, I probably went through the gambit of, I wanted to be a nurse. My mother was a nurse, so everything. But yeah, it's a long winding path to where you end up.
Right.
You know?
If you were to look 20 years into the future, what career might you be in then?
I think I would still be doing this. This is definitely where I want to be. I want to be able to, speak and, help people. And again, it's a lifestyle thing. Tweak your lifestyle. It's about what you do every day that dictates your health. Right? That's kind of my direction forward. I'd like to do, workshops and, help people.
Right.
As
so
much as I can.
Where can people find you?
My website is www.cynthiabrace.com.
Wonderful.
On there, there's a bunch of little tabs. There's one for the book that you can check out some stuff.
And they can probably catch you online.
And definitely, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, I really appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to learning more from you and really seeing what else is truly possible to make things more easeful. So if you're someone that's looking to make a contribution and make a change in your life with ease, definitely get in contact with Cynthia. She's a fabulous health coach who is definitely inspiring people in the world. So if you're someone who's inspiring in the world, if there's something that motivates you that you'd like to share, we would love to invite you. So you can contact me at info@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Until next time, thank you so much for being with us, and be sure to come back and learn more about where you can be receiving more inspiration.